Hi, everyone. Welcome to NUS 431, which is Nursing in a Global Society. I'm so excited to be teaching this class and having you all in class again. Really just proud of all of you for continuing on. I know this has been certainly a busy spring, all of you becoming licensed registered nurses and hopefully embarking on some great new journeys in your new roles as RNs. So in this course, it's exciting to me. This is something I've always wanted to teach. I've always embedded it into other things that I have taught, but we're really going to peel back another layer of the onion, be thinking about nursing from another perspective, looking at nursing not only for your own practice, but in your community, local, regionally, and now for this course, we're going to be looking at it even globally and just thinking about culture and nursing all around the world. So I'm really, really excited about the things that we can share with one another and be able to learn from one another and learn about the impact that we can have on the world globally as nurses. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to take us through the website for our course, go through the syllabus and talk about the assignments. I'll have a separate video for week 1. And then each week, as you know, I'll have a video come out on Monday. But you can always come back to this video if you have any questions about the assignments that you will have throughout the semester. All right, so without any further ado, I'm going to go to our website. So this is not your first course, so now Moodle should be familiar to you. As you know, you have announcements, which there aren't any announcements yet. Underneath, you're going to have all the class resources, the first one being the syllabus, which really has everything that you're going to need, which I will go through momentarily. Here's an area where you can also ask me questions, but I think probably our best bet is if you email me, nstone@annmaria.edu. And as you know, from experience, hopefully I get back to you and check my email very frequently. The scholarly writing resources here, my personal favorite here, right? OWL Purdue for your APA 7th edition information, different resources such as the Writing Center you can find here, best practices for discussion forums. I know this is not your first class with discussion forums, but should you want to take a look at that, how to access your library and library information. Then you will see once I open the course on Monday that all weeks are going to be opened. There will not be the video for the week until you get to that week. However, you will always have that same format of having your week 1 video to explain to have the week video to explain that week in detail, the topics that you're going to cover for that week, always your learning objectives, your learning resources, which they are varied and sometimes they are videos, we have articles, we have chapters from books that we provide for you, so different readings, etc. And then always, of course, some activities. So depending on the week will depend on the activities. And I've kind of summarized what that will look like by week, which I will go over after I go through the syllabus. I'm sorry, hit that by accident. But as you can see, that's follow through. And on the each week where you have an assignment, there's always a drop box and you want to actually drop your assignments in there to make sure you do that also by the time that's indicated for the due dates, okay? And as you can see, same thing is going to go through week 1, week 2, week 3, right? All the way through to week 8. And now you've taken several, or at least a couple of 8-week courses and know that they do go awfully fast, right? So you really want to make sure that a good strategy is to kind of look ahead, plan what you have with each week and make a plan so that you get through all the materials. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up our syllabus and we'll take a look at that together. Okay, so this is considered our summer 1 session, and it is a 3-credit course, and it starts on the 28th of April, and it ends. And just to note that the end date is a Saturday, so where most assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. on a Sunday, this course does end on a Saturday. Okay. I will be your teaching faculty. You can see my email address. And again, I'm happy to meet with you by email or speak with you over the phone or Zoom. If you just email me, then by appointment, we can figure that out. You can read through, I'm not going to read through your entire syllabus because I know that you can do that on your own, but really just the basic of understanding the role of nursing to help improve the quality of healthcare at local, organizational, state, national, and international levels. And that's going to be our primary focus. We have our 8 learning objectives, which you can also read on your own. There will be various teaching methods, as I explained in the weekly modules. There'll be readings, there'll be videos to watch, you'll have discussion postings to do, you'll have written assignments. You'll also have a online training module that you'll need to do, which I'll go into a little bit in just a few moments. The textbooks, if you don't already have it, the APA manual for 7th edition, and certainly all the articles and websites that we provide for you. The Anna Maria grading criteria, which has not changed, and you do need a C+ to continue in this course, to continue in the nursing program. So the course grading, you can see there's discussion postings. There are 5 of them, each worth 12%. Giving a total of 60%. There are 2 papers for this class. One is a comparative analysis of professional nursing practice, and one is a global health problem analysis, each one worth 15%. And then there is an online training called Think Cultural Health training course. I have done that myself in the past. It's excellent. You will complete that, and that will be worth 10% of your grade. I will go through how you get to that and what you need to do soon. Late policy. So just as you know, there's going to be due dates for all of your assignments. And if you know that you're having a particularly tough week, whether it be life or work or just having a tough time meeting the deadline, if you reach out to me, I have no issue giving you an extension. You just have to put that in writing and ask me before the due date, okay? If not, late assignments will be reduced by 10% per day, including weekends and holidays, so best to avoid that. Credit hours, so you should be spending about 2 hours per week on coursework outside of the classroom time, or I'm sorry, and then it's 3 hours per week per credit, right? So this is a 3-credit class, right? So you can expect that you will spend about 6 hours per week. And if you kind of average it out, some weeks you might spend more with your paper, the weeks that papers are due. If you need any accommodations, here is the link to be able to request those accommodations. These are our policies on inclusivity, trying to create an atmosphere for learning and respecting diversity. And this becomes particularly important when we have our discussion boards and people sharing from their experiences, especially in a class like this with global health. So we just need to make sure that we're very respectful and valuing of each other's comments. Communication. So we're going to be communicating together through the discussion boards. But again, if you need to reach me, also, you can email me through my Anna Maria account, and please use your Anna Maria account. Using proper etiquette when writing emails is important and a good way for us to practice our professionalism. The academic honesty and code of conduct policies are here for you to read. The policy on artificial intelligence, of course, generative AI is a tool that is useful in some avenues and certainly for some reasons, but here it is not allowed for these assignments. We really want to make sure that we are creating good learning and your own original work. So you are able to use Grammarly for grammatical editing, but you do not want to use Grammarly to generate content. Otherwise, it will flag for AI, and that is out of compliance with the Anna Maria College Honesty and Integrity Policy. So that is that for the policies. So now we move on to the outline for the course. So week one, and they all are going to line up like this, where you have here the due dates, what the week falls. So our first week is April 28th through May 4th. The topics are going to be orientation and just an introduction to global health. Our readings are going to be chapter 2 of this new era in global health. And you can click on that link. I've read it myself. If you click on it, it'll take you right to the Google book for free, and you can read chapter 2. There's also a couple of short videos for you to watch, as well as an article to link. You'll see for the assignments, there are 2 discussion posts this week, which I'm going to go through all of this in week 1, so I'm actually not going to go into it in detail now, but you'll see that the assignments are then follow and give you the prompts for the discussion posts. What's most important is that you'll see for all discussion posts, the initial post is due on Wednesday by 11:59 p.m. and you have to respond to 2 peers by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So those are all important in order to not lose any points on the rubric. And we'll go through those rubrics at the end. You'll see every other week is also laid out just like the same with topics, objectives, readings, and the assignments for each week, okay? And these are all tied to the student learning outcomes that are outlined at the beginning of your syllabus. So that goes through all of the weeks, okay, and takes us all the way to the very end, okay? And I'm going to go through the 2 papers, but one thing that I want to go through is on this assignment for week 8. And you might want to even think about doing this earlier. It might help you. I was thinking with the rest of the content is in week 8, you'll see that this is where the link is to complete the Think Cultural Health training course. Now, you have to register on the site in order to be able to do the course. I'm going to click on the link, and I'm actually going to stop sharing and reshare because I'm not positive that's going to follow me. So when I click on the link in the syllabus, it takes us here to Think Cultural Health. And this is the training you're going to be doing, is the culturally and linguistically appropriate services in nursing. And you're going to click on that link to log in, okay? And there you're going to actually create your login, and that will then lead you to the assignment. Stop sharing again. Now, when you get in to do that training, just to kind of warn you, that will be about a 4-hour training, okay? So you can complete that at any time, but it does have to be completed by Saturday, June 21st, which is the last day of the course at 11:59 p.m. That is the last assignment for this course, but for anybody who wants to get a head start on that, that is something that you could do ahead of time. All right, so just to give you some details on discussion boards, so we know that that's going to be a huge component of this course. There are 5 that are due throughout the semester. You have them on week 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. On the initial post, we want to make sure, again, by 11:59 on Wednesday night each week, the minimum should be about 600 words, and you need to have at least 1 citation from a peer-reviewed nursing article that is less than 5 years old. And it should obviously relate to the specific examples that you're giving. On the initial post and all posts on your discussion posts, I'd like you to use APA format as best as you can. I do understand, having used it myself, that there are some limitations of APA formatting in Moodle. So things like not having proper indents, I'm not worried about hanging indents, etc. I know that is very difficult in Moodle, but you should have proper citations within your post, as well as include your references at the bottom, okay? And making sure that you proof your work and have proper spelling and grammar and punctuation. Now, your response posts, you have to do at least 2 by Sunday each week, and your peer responses should be at least 400 words, and they should be adding new information with at least 1 citation per response, and you can share relevant professional experiences, give, ask thought-provoking questions. And again, just like we said before, we're making sure that we are respectful and professional, and understanding that they, some people might have different views than you might have. And I do hope that we have some real fruitful conversations throughout these discussion posts. I do, cannot stress enough about going to your rubrics when doing all your assignments. You know that I'm going to be a stickler and be using these rubrics. So please make sure that you are using these rubrics when you are creating your work. Okay, so you can see here the breakdown, the rubric for your initial post, the response post 1, response post 2, your overall APA format and grammar and style, and then your final comment. So I will be grading your discussion posts. I will, respond to your posts weekly, and I will be grading your discussion posts weekly as well, and hope to have them to you within the first few days after it is all done for the week. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to write them in on the rubric or if I'm going to give you a little video feedback, or I might vary between the two each week. But please know that you can watch for that feedback from me. So moving on, so there's 2 written assignments for this course. The first one is the comparative analysis of the professional nursing practice. So you're going to, how does professional nursing practice differ between healthcare systems? And you're going to compare them with the United States healthcare model to another country. So we'd like you to look at either Sweden or Canada's universal healthcare system. So you're going to analyze the differences between practice, between the varying healthcare delivery, because we are not universal healthcare, right? You're going to evaluate the impact of the healthcare system, how it has the impact on the nursing role and responsibilities. You're going to look at current evidence regarding global nursing practice and synthesize that data that you find and compare and contrast how nursing varies between the healthcare models. Okay, so this is going to be a scholarly paper, again, a rubric. You're going to have an introduction, which you can read through what should be in each area. The healthcare system structure, you're going to explain. You're going to do a nursing practice comparison, and you're going to do the impact on patient care, as well as round that all up with a synthesis and analysis, okay? Obviously, this is going to be APA format, professionally written. The focus and quality, I'm sorry, the length is the focus and the quality. The focus is on quality, not on quantity, right? But we believe that you'll need to have at least 3 to 4 pages in order to be able to really answer this as in depth as you need to. You're going to use 7th edition of APA. You need to have at least 3 scholarly sources that are within 5 years, and it should be double spaced, 12-point font, Times New Roman, okay? And then make sure you have your reference page. You'll put that into the drops box when you're done, and that is due in week 4, which that week, luckily, you don't have a discussion due on the week of your paper, but that is going to be due on May 25th. So you do want to again, space it out and figure out how you need to get that done. Here is your rubric that I'll be using for grading it. So please, 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 I can't stress enough to almost grade your own paper. And I, always recommend using also the writing center should you want to have someone take a look at it as well. But if nothing else, please make sure that you're reviewing your paper and reviewing the rubric to make sure you haven't left anything out. The second assignment that you'll have for this course written is a global health problem analysis. And the purpose of this is to identify and analyze a specific international healthcare problem while demonstrating evidence-based nursing practice, professional collaboration, and advocacy skills that relate to current nursing practice, okay? So it's going to be looking at learning more about evidence-based practice, global health awareness, professional collaboration, advocacy skills, and clinical practice integration. Okay, so this is again going to be a paper that you're going to synthesize, and you're going to address the international healthcare problem and the implication it has on nursing practice. You will have several parts, so you will identify the problem and give the background. You will do an analysis based on evidence, where you'll be looking at the research findings that you discover, looking at collaborative approaches to this problem, clinical practice integration, and again, this is all to be done in APA. Again, this paper is recommended 3 to 4 pages. but it's quality over quantity, and it may end up being a little bit less or a little bit more. It should be at least two peer-reviewed journal references, double-spaced 12-point font with proper citations. You're going to drop box this in, and this one is due in week 6, which again, you have no discussion during that week, and it's due on Sunday, June 8th. And the rubric is here to follow. Okay. And that is it. So that is it in a nutshell. So just to kind of summarize the big assignments for this course, you have discussion board postings, 5 of them on week 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. In week 4, you have your comparative analysis of the professional nurse due. And week 6, you have your global health problem analysis paper due. And in week 8, you have your Think Cultural Health training due. Okay. So I hope you have a great semester. I look forward to working with you. And if you have any questions, please reach out at any time. And I look forward to working with you. See you soon.